I'll be teaching you government today. Give me a second. Let me share my screen. Oh, can you see my screen? Hello?
Not yet, sir.
Can you see my screen yet?
Yes.
Oh, why? Please, can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
All right, great. So, from the topic, I'll be teaching you party system today. Party system is actually one of the topics in government, and it's pretty important. If you go through past questions and all, you will see questions like this relating to parties. So now from the topic, we'll start from this is the aim of the class, yeah? So the aim of this class is to one, understand the meaning of party system. The second one, to identify and understand the type of party system. The third one, to identify and understand the features, merits, and demerits of each type of party system. And the last one, understand what a party manifesto is. So I'm going to go straight to the meaning of party system since we don't really have much time. So from the definition, party system may be defined as the conduct of government based on the number of political parties within the system. So what are we trying to say? The idea of party system simply means it simply means a government set up that is dependent on the number of political parties in the country. So when I'm saying party system, I'm not talking about the O and Bs. No, I'm talking about the number of political parties in a particular government or in a particular country. So as we move forward, you would understand different type of party system. So let's move to the next one, which is the type of party system. Now we have the one party or single party system. We have the two party system. We have the multi-party system, and we have the zero party system. Can we all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So, okay, so let's move to the one party system. Don't mind me, I'm moving as fast as I can because it's really much, but let's go. So we have the one party system. Now, let me read. This may be defined as one in which only one legal and legitimate political party is constitutionally recognized in the country. No other party is recognized and can therefore not exist. One party system is a common feature of communist or socialist countries. Countries that practice one party system are North Korea, Cuba, and China. Now, what am I trying to say? When we talk about one party system, that means we are looking at a government or a country in which there's only one registered political
sorry
party.
to interrupt you, Mr. Oyebola.
Yeah.
Students, I hope it's not too fast for you. Please, if it's too fast, it can reduce the pace at which it's going.
Not really.
Do you want me to slow down my pace?
Yes, please slow down your pace. It's a bit.
All right, I'm actually being time conscious, but okay, let's go. So, one party system. Now, the idea of one party system simply means that in a government or in a state, in government, we call it a state is actually a country in government. So, in a state, we are trying to say there's only one registered political party. Let's say, for example, a practical example is let's look at Nigeria. Now, let's imagine that it's only APC or is only PDP that is registered as a political party in Nigeria. No other political party is present, just one political party. So from the name itself, one party system, that means only one political party is registered in that government. Are we getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Can I move forward?
Yes, sir, you can move forward.
All right. Now, under that one party system, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Now, under one party system, there are still types. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yeah. So under the one party system, there are still types. What are we trying to say? Now we have three types. Can you see my screen clearly?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now let's pick the types one after the other. We have the true single party system. Now, when we say true single party system, that means this system is strictly one party. That means they don't allow any kind of political party again, apart from that one that is registered. So what I'm trying to say is that in this true single party system, only one is known, recognized, and even recognized by the constitution. Every other one, you can't create any other one. Like you cannot create it at all. But now let's move to the next one. Now, so we can, I would run through the difference later, but let's move to the next one. We have the hegemonic party. Now, what this one is trying to say is one party is firmly established in the office. That means that party has unchallenged authority. Are we getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the idea of this hegemonic party is that although one party is registered, one party is known, one party is in the office, does not mean that there are no other parties. There are other parties, but those parties, they are not relevant. Are we getting what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so unlike true single party system in which only one exists, there cannot be any form of challenge, like no other party can challenge them. This hegemonic, there is actually one registered one, but there can be other parties around, but they are not relevant. Are we getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now move to the last one, predominant party. Now, when we say predominant party, I'm going to use a practical example of, let's say, if you look at the election between 1999 down to 2007, even 2007, then 2013, if I'm right, every 2 years, yeah, 2011, I guess. Now, if you look at those elections, you will notice that PDP was being voted in throughout those years, right or wrong? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Are you following up?
Sorry, Maureen will not know that because she doesn't like to be current.
Oh, okay.
I believe
So,
Marvelous can
okay,
answer that very well.
okay. Um, I'm sorry, I should have even asked for you guys' name before I started, but I was really time conscious. But sorry, can I quickly get to meet you all?
Lucky Maureen.
Okay,
Lankwap Antonia.
okay. Are we just two?
Oh, Marvelous. Maybe he can't hear you. Maybe you should continue. There are
So I
others,
was
but these are those that are currently
sorry.
logged in.
All right. All right. So now I've talked about true single party system. Now I've talked about hegemonic. True as in only one. Then it forbids formation of any other one. Hegemonic, there is actually one that is registered, known, and relevant, but the others, they are not relevant. That means people don't, the constitution does not really recognize them. Then the last one, which is predominant party, this one simply, that was why I was using the example of election between 1999 down to 2011. Is it 11 or 2000? Yeah, it should be 11. Yeah, PDP was being voted in all through these years, which makes them the predominant party because the only parties we knew was PDP, ACN, PDP, ACN. Those were predominant parties. So when we say predominant party, that means just one party is being known, only one. Every other party, even though they are there, people don't know them. Are you getting the idea?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now let's move straight to the characteristics so we don't waste much time. Now, characteristics of one party system. Note, for easy assimilation and to be able to quickly answer your question in word, once you see the word one party system, even from those words, you should be able to pick out certain characteristics. You hear one party system, that means number one, that means we only have one officially recognized party. From one party system, we only have one officially recognized party. Number two, only one party is recognized by the Constitution. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Number
Yes, sir, I
three,
can hear you.
Number three, no private control of the mass media. That means the mass media in one party system, the mass media is not being controlled by any private individual. Then the fourth one, there is no legally recognized opposition party. Now, when we say opposition party, that means another contender or another political party that is challenging them for office. In one party system, there is no legally recognized opposition. That means we only have one party, and you only have one party that is going to continue ruling. Then we have the last one as one party in leadership for a long time can lead one party leadership for a long time can lead to dictatorship. In the government textbook I show, this is one of the things they said in one party system. When a person stays in a position for a long time, there's every possibility the person will not want to leave. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, an example of such, if you notice, I don't know whether you're familiar with Russia, but I think Vladimir Putin has been in power for a very long time. That is an example of a leader that has been in power for a very long time. So in a one-party system, if a particular party has been in power for a long time, they might decide not to leave again, or a person that is representing that party might decide not to leave again. So it becomes a dictator, it becomes someone that wants to stay and then affects every other people's life. Are we getting it?
Yes, sir.
Any question up to this point? I don't want to run too fast. Can we hear me?
You can go on, sir.
All right. So now let's talk about merits of one party system. Now, the first merit is it prevents economic waste. Now, what are we trying to say? When there is one party system, that is only one party is on ground, you don't really need to spend money on election because you are not voting for multiple people. You already know this is the party and the person they are presenting is going to be the winner of the election. So you don't really even need an election for a one-party system. And election, for example, election in Nigeria costs billions of naira in Nigeria. So imagine in a one-party system where you don't need election, so you'll be able to save the resources of the country. Are we getting it?
Yes, sir.
All right. The second one is it promotes unity. Now, what am I trying to say? When we say it promotes unity, unlike in Nigeria now that we have APC, we have PDP, we have another party, we have different parties that are contending or contesting for an election. There's bound to be violence. If you notice during election time, there's always violence, there's always snatching of ballot boxes. Now, but for a one-party system that all these things is not needed because you already know who is going into office. So this way, instead of different parties to be fighting, there's only one party, hence there's unity in that party. Are we getting that idea? Hello?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now let's move to the next one. One party system ensures stability in government. Now, what am I trying to say? If you say one party system ensures stability in government, let's say, for example, APC is the only party recognized in Nigeria. Yeah. And then we have an election in an election is coming in next year, 2023. So let's see, from 2019, we had APC. Now, if an APC person comes in 2023, the person will continue from where the other person stopped, right? Are we getting what I'm saying? Can we hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yeah, but if a PDP comes in, there's every probability that the person will also want to start his own agenda. So hence, there won't be stability. This is just an example. I'm not trying to do any or campaign for no. It's just an example. So when we say ensuring stability in government, that means Stability is attributed to continuity, like where someone stops, you continue. So for a one-party system in which there's only one party, once the party puts this person there, once the person is done serving, they put another person there to continue doing what that person and to continue from where that person stopped. Are we getting it?
Yes, sir, we're getting it.
All right. Now the next one is one-party system promotes quick decision on government policies. Now, when we say, okay, a very quick question. In Nigeria, who is in charge of making the law? What arm of government is in charge of making the law?
The legislature, sir.
Legislature. Thank you. So now, if you notice, in another quick question, how many senators do we have in Nigeria?
109.
Yeah, perfect. Now, we have 109 senators in Nigeria. Now, if you run through those 109, not all 109 are APC members, true or false? Do you know the answer to that question?
Yeah.
We have 109 senators, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you know that those 109 senators, all of them are not members of APC? We have APC among them, we have PDP among them, we have APG among them. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We're getting it.
Now, for the idea of promoting good decisions, if they actually bring up a bill in the House of Assembly and they say, okay, we want to do this, if it's an APC member that brings up a bill, the PDP people might be contesting against it that no, they don't want this bill. But imagine if all the senators are all APC members. Once a bill is brought in, there will be it will be fast track for people to accept easily. And before you know it, it is moved to law. True or false? Hello?
It's not true.
Yeah, so when we say merit of one party system, we're talking about when you have one party in charge of government, it is very easy to make decisions very fast, very quick, and implement it very quick. So the last one is electoral malpractice is completely minimized. Now, for a system in which you only have one party, you really don't need electoral malpractice because you know it is only one party and it's the representative of that party that will come into power. So let me move to the merits really fast. Okay, give me a second. Okay, demerits. So let me run through this really fast. Demerits, that means disadvantages. Number one, the system does not tolerate opposition. That means the one party system does not allow for anybody to oppose that party. The second one, the government controls mass media and all means of communication. Remember in the characteristic, they said there is no private control. Meanwhile, the government controls it all. That means the government determines what the mass media says. So in a situation like that, it's the government that will tell the mass media what to post and what not to post. They'll be the one to tell the mass media what they will say on TV and what not to say on TV. The third one, it may lead to dictatorship. I explained that earlier, that in a one-party system, if a party has been in power for a long time, or if a person has been in power for a long time, there's every probability the person would want to remain in power, hence leading to dictatorship. Then we have the fourth one, it is undemocratic. Remember, when we say democracy, government of the people, by the people, and for the people, and one of the pillars of democracy is the rights of the people. So, and one of the rights of people is freedom of choice. But now, one party system, there is no choice. You just have to accept what is there. So that is why they said one party system is undemocratic. That means it doesn't follow the principle of democracy. And then the last one, change of government is not provided for in the constitution. That means there's no change of government to the extent that there's no new political party coming into power. No, it's only going to be one political party and they keep putting in who they want. So that is the demerit of one party system. So are we good with one party system?
Yes, sir.
Can I move to two party system? Hello?
Sir?
Hello, sir. We are with you.
Can I move to two party system?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Now, for like one party system, now can someone give me just a very flash idea of what two party system is? It's very, very fast. Two party system.
Okay, sir. Sir, two-party system is a system whereby two political parties are recognized in the state.
Perfect. So like I said, from the word itself, you will be able to get the definition. So two-party system is defined as the existence of only two major political parties in a political system. So unlike one-party system that we only have one, in two-party system we only have two. Now, example of a country that practices that is USA. USA has the Democrats and the Republicans. Those are the two major political parties. Even in Britain, they have Labour and the Conservative Party. Those are the two major political parties. Most of their presidents come from either of those two parties. Now let's run through the characteristics. The characteristics are straightforward. Number one, we only have two major political parties. Number two, opposition party is legally recognized. When we say opposition party, that means there's now a competitor. It's no longer one, it is now two. So two people can go.
Hear you, sir.
So okay. So sorry, where did I stop?
Characteristic.
What you said?
So the characteristic of two-party system.
Two-party system. Okay, yeah. So I think I was at it is democratic. So I'll move to the last one. The system allows press freedom. That is, in this party system, there's no government restriction. That means the press is not controlled by the government. Instead, they allow them to do their activities with little or no censorship. So let's move to the merits of two-party system. Now, as in advantages of two-party system, we have the first one, there's choice. That means now you can choose in between a party candidate and another party candidate. Number two, presence of a strong opposition. Now, when we say strong opposition, that means instead of the one party system in which we only have one party, no competition, no nothing. In this one, there's someone that is going to disturb the other party. Like there's someone that is making sure it checks the other party. So the idea of strong opposition is there is a party on ground to make sure that the other party do what is right. So that's the idea of a strong opposition. The third one,
Sorry
it
to
makes for good.
interrupt. You have
Yeah.
about 8 minutes more.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing it. Okay, let me. Oh, okay, okay, let me just run through this really fast. So, then we have the fourth one. It is democratic. I've talked about that before. Then change of government is possible. That means you can actually elect another political party instead of the usual one party in one party system. So let's move to the merits. The merits. The first demerit is division of the country into two factions. Remember, we only have two political parties now. So because of that, the country might be divided into two different parties. Like half of the country supporting one party, another half of the country supporting another party. Hence, there is no unity, which brings us to the second point. The third point, it may lead to electoral malpractices. Now there's an election. So an opposition party might want to involve in electoral malpractice to ensure that they win. Then the fourth one, it causes unhealthy party rivalry. Unhealthy party rivalry, that's like it can cause war between two parties, which can lead to death, loss of lives, among other things. Then we have waste of nation resources in conducting elections. In two-party system, there has to be election. So because of that, a lot of money will go into the organizing of the election, which wastes the national resources of the country. So let's move to the next one, multi-party system. Unlike one party, two party, multi-party system is actually it is a system that allows for two or more political parties. An example of that is Nigeria. We have over 50 registered political parties in Nigeria. So Nigeria is a pure example of multi-party system. Sorry, I'm running too fast, but I actually have short time. So features of multi-party system. The first one, from the word multi-party, there is existence of multiple parties. All political parties are recognized by law. That means all parties that are registered, all parties are allowed to be registered and are allowed to be recognized by law, so they can contest. Then we have the third one, avenue for choice of parties. That means now you can pick between different parties. Number four, absence of dictatorship. That means now you can't, like, unlike one party system in which only one party is in charge of ruling and all. This one, they have different parties, so we have different choice to choose from. So there can't be dictatorship. Then we have the fourth one, periodic election are organized. Like in Nigeria, election comes in every 4 years. So merit is straightforward. Number one, it is democratic. I've explained what democratic is all about. We have number two, wider political representation and education. Wider political representation and education. For example, in Nigeria, if you notice, before election, a lot of people tend to talk to us, sensitize us about election, and also because of multi-party system, there's meant to be more education on politics. There's meant to be wide representation from various political parties. Third one, it eliminates dictatorship, allows change in government. These are straightforward points. I can share this slide later. Then we have demerits of multi-party system. It is expensive. Yeah, it is very expensive because now you have different parties, so you have to organize a very big election for them. Political instability in the sense that there has to be a power tussle between different political parties. So it's a big deal. Let me run through the last one. We really have just 4 minutes. I can't finish up this point. So I'm going to run through this last one. Zero party system. Now, when we say zero party system is a type of system in which there is no political party. That means a person is voted in based on their individual characteristics. So instead of voting for APC or voting for PDP, you are voting for either the person that is like you are voting for a person instead of the party. So instead of voting for APC, you are voting for Buhari. Instead of voting for PDP, you are voting for Jonathan. So this zero party system simply means there is no political party. You vote based on the individual characteristics. And then I'm going to skip the merits and demerits. They are straightforward. Once you see this slide, you can understand it. I move to the last point, party manifesto. Now, when we say party manifesto, party
Oyebola, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So can I get any question before We actually have just probably 2 minutes left. So any question? Any question real fast? Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir. Sir, we are with you, sir.
Yeah, I said any question before I give you assignments.
No question, sir.
All right, so we have the assignment. Your first assignment is to identify 5 differences between one-party system and multi-party system. That is the first assignment. The second one, you should mention 5 countries that operate one-party system and 5 countries that operate multi-party system. So that's the assignment for you guys. I would talk about it in the next class or move to the next topic. So I hope we all learned 1 or 2 things today.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you
please,
very much, sir.
All right, what did you say?
can I ask you a question?
All right, yeah, I'm listening.
So do Nigeria also practice two-party?
No,
Since,
Nigeria. Okay, I'm listening.
okay, since APC and PDP have been the party that has been the party that has been in power for long. You see that APC or PDP, APC or PDP, or that they are
No.
the
Okay, let me answer that question real fast. It's pretty relative in the sense that all well and good, we have 2 major political parties, but Nigeria practices multi-party system because if you notice in certain states, it's not only APC and PDP. For example, I think in maybe Anambra, we have APGA as one of the most vibrant political party in that state. Is also under Nigeria. So even though we have APC and PDP in the national level, in state level, there are other parties that actually have their own strongholds. Hence, we can't call Nigeria a two-party, even though we have just 2 major political parties in the national level. Instead, we call them multi-party because we have more than 2 political parties that have strongholds in the country. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you, sir.
All right, so I think that is all for the class. Yeah, so thanks for joining in.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, do have a nice day.
And you too, sir. God bless you.
And you too. Bye.